Welcome to Coach's Corner, everyone. I'm Coach Lyndon.
I'm Amy.
Coach Debbie.
Ooh.
And this is Coach's Corner, where we help people change their relationship with food and fitness. Please like the video, share the video, and make sure you hit that notification button. Don't forget to subscribe also. We want you to get things as they come out. That way you get everything as we share. All right. So last time we were covering, we only covered the physical of what we were talking about, but we're all reading the same book. We're doing that to foster better relationships and to better understand one another. So I would actually like to talk about friendship today.
Ooh.
I think that'd be a good one. Friendship, right? Or let's say real relationships. Physical, mental, and spiritual. You can talk about whatever you want as far as that's concerned. I want this conversation to go crazy. Yeah, I want to see it taken in different directions. Friendship is a very wide term, but I like relationships better because most friendships aren't real, and I would like them to be real. We have noticed, and we've heard it in here, where people misunderstand an associate from a friend. And because of that, I would like to cover what real relationships are. Okay, so what don't we talk about?
Okay.
Relationships physically.
Okay.
Fuck, no, I'm just kidding. Immediately.
Right, so I don't know why maybe this isn't physical, but I'm gonna go off of it because it's a free-form style today. You just said the difference between acquaintances and friendships, but you wanted this to be more about relationships, and I think
being real in your ships, man.
Yeah, I think not knowing the difference between acquaintances and friendships makes either one that you have a fake shit. You know, like it's not a relationship; it's a fakeation shit.
Vacation.
Yeah, once you realize like where someone is in your life. I think that's what makes it a relationship because you can start fostering it intentionally. I'm looking back after reading this chapter on a lot of my relationships, and I think there were fakeationships, you know, like because of my intentionality in them.
More convenient ships.
Yeah. And like I can't say that I wasn't trying to
accomplish.
accomplish what I'm still trying to accomplish. I think you can only work with what you know. So the things that I didn't know that were holding me back from like real relationship, this book is bringing up and showing me spots I need to work on. Physically, I think in order to, the physical thing that you need to have a relationship is consistency. You know, like showing up, being there, not leaving. I think that's the like minimum entry fee to a relationship. Bars. Physically. Yeah.
Showing up is a prerequisite, yeah.
I'll jump off that a little bit because I think, this chapter, the chapter on friendship, definitely brought up, gave me a moment to reflect, and I think I have been in this reflective space around my relationships and how they've changed and how my circles have changed and gotten smaller and where I feel, listening to this, it was like that physical thing. I think there were a lot of acquaintances that I had that there was only relating happen when we were physically present with each other. There's no follow-up, right? So there's no checking in. I think I had a lot of, and they were acquaintances, really, like, oh, you go out. I was going out a lot, like, so I know people who work at different establishments, that type of thing. There's only so far you can go in a relationship when it's based on, hey, I'm seeing you once a week, and we're not really doing anything together, we're not really purposely even gathering, and I think that was where the pandemic really weeded out a lot of things. I mean, when you was like, all right, everybody go inside, be alone. I was alone, and I was exactly what I needed. But coming back out, it was like, okay, so much of these things I saw how there wasn't anything there. There was no substance. There was no value there. Neither side was looking to be like, hey, how are you doing? How are you holding up? Right. It's very clear the relationships that I had that had more substance and the ones that were like, yeah, that's not even worth my time anymore.
I like that.
Better.
Green team.
Green team. I think this chapter about friendship kind of calls my attention. I said in the polo, but it helped me. Well, I would have liked to know those things sooner, I think, like about friendships and how they change over time. Like when you're in school and you're just constantly around people, like when you're just forced to be around people, you have those friendships, but do they have substance? And then like getting older and starting to look for specific things in friendships and really not finding that in people for a long time definitely made me feel very alone and like something was wrong with me for wanting deeper things out of friendships that I just was not finding, like literally anywhere, until I came here. And so which really brought me back to life, and that was, post-COVID decisions, and coming out into the world in a different way after that time of like, I wanted to just use the word enclosure, so we'll go with that. But coming back out, and then this happened to be like prison. This happened to be the place that I came back out into, and
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to drop off the brochure out from our advertising. I was hoping if you wanted to take a look at it.
Leave it right there.
Love that conversation. Thanks so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
woo, amazing.
I forget.
Yeah, that is amazing.
That's what I was wondering about. Shit. Anyway.
Running some numbers here, but anyway.
Okay, all right, we're back. But this happened to be where I came and helped me do some kind of, felt like speed processing and seeing, like, I think when I think about friendship, I think about having people in my life that I admire, who have traits that I want to have in myself, things I strive for, and then also people who respect things about me that are things that they would like to strive for or they admire, and having that mutual appreciation, which again can feel so lonely when you don't have it. I feel like it's so rare to find, and when you do, that just makes it all the more special. And that like breeds so much loyalty out of me, like to find that reciprocal thing. Like, I'll be with you forever if that's the kind of friend you are, but I only have a couple of those. It also has made me look at my friendships from the past and before COVID and in the last few years, and it's sad to let that go. But it's also people that like, do you even know me? Do you really care about me? Did you like me because I would go out and have a drink with you? Or because I could spend money here or go there? Or did you actually like connect with me on a deeper level, admire something about me? Do I admire anything about you? Are you growing? I just think over time, I'm starting to solidify like what actually is a friend, and accepting that it's lonely until you find those people, but it's worth the wait. Yep, get over it. Taking a breath.
So friendships are really easy for me because I think growing as a human being, I looked at all my relationships being honest and some tether. No tether, no relationship, right? And when I changed, then those tethers either got cut or they got strengthened. So it was real easy for me to say this person is a friend because our tether wasn't easily cut. Time can be a tether, location can be a tether. Let's say hobbies can be a tether, right? But there is a few people in your life who have if you've ever seen Hercules, the golden strand or the golden tether. No matter who they are, no matter what happens, no matter where you go, I feel like those people continuously embody what it's like to not skip a beat with a person. They show up, they do the things they say they're going to do, they are the people they say they are. If something's happening and they can't come, they're the first person to tell you they can't come. They're just very honest about who they are, what they're able to give, and how they're able to give it. To me, that's one of the best things you can have in a relationship. And then it all stems down to how I show the friendship I want. We love to use the word manifestation, but I think a lot of people miss what that means. And I would say, because it's a very platitude word, I can say I want a thing, but then my actions don't show it. So a lot of, if I want great friendships, I need to be a great friend, right? Like, I can't be talking about people and setting myself up to fail by the actions that I exude. There's what you want, right? There's what you feel or need, and then there's what you do. And a lot of people, I don't think, connect what they need and what they do. So I'm saying a great friend connects what they do to what others need. If you can't do that, then I don't think you're a great friend, right? You might be an associate. I've got plenty of associates I used to go out with, hang with, go to different spaces, but there's only a few people I can say I can count on in my life. If something were to go wrong, if I needed my house to be held down, I knew I could call them and ask for help, like those type of things. That is big for me in friendships. So I think because I never really bought into what most people are calling friendships, I think I just really looked for real relationships, like from the people around me. Again, does it sail? Where's it taking us? How far does it go? All that matters. Just mentally? Mentally. I actually think what Devin threw out was more touching on mentally. It has to do with, okay, I say be the change you want to see in the world, right? So a lot of what people bring up when it comes to friendship has to do with embodying who you are. And if you want to be your best version of yourself, your circle should show that too. And if it doesn't, then you need to change your circle. My favorite part is watching someone do that, right? Like as someone who leads people, who helps people, it's watching people do exactly that. Like, more time spent with the people they love, the people we care. That sounds great, but really my circle emulating that as I'm gonna say as a bare minimum. I think everybody here, sitting here, can say that they've dealt with some disappointment, some hurt when it comes to relationships. And I want to say probably the biggest part for most people is the fact that they don't know how to gain friendship as an adult, right? So I'm gonna take my hood off when I say this one. All right. I want to say, if you're looking at gain relationships as an adult, they should make you a little uneasy, right? Real people, real things. Like, I know that this person might be there for me, but to ask them feels like they might say no. That's being real. And I truly feel like you're not friends with someone until you allow them to help you. So there's a lot of different things that you can do, but in all honesty, being honest with someone is like letting your guard down, is part of having real relationships. So if you're looking to be closer to people, you should try letting down your guard.
Back this way?
Yeah.
Great. I'm gonna bounce off that one. I felt like you were stirring a stew. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna bounce off that. I remember in the chapter also he was talking about like that hesitancy, and that definitely struck a chord, because I want deep friendships, and also I've been disappointed with humans many times about like what they're able to give, or just even alignment of who's around, right? And like trying to find the right people, or like people that want similar. And even if I'm like around people that feel like they are that now, is like such an extreme hesitancy. And I think there's the same people that like how I'm feeling are often the friends I want to have, but we both have the same hesitancy, or like it's hard to trust and share your inner world with people. Like, it's a risk every time. And after so many risks, then kind of like where I am in my life, just kind of transitioning out of taking risks that ended up feeling like shit. Yeah, it's like incredibly hard to want to trust people like genuinely with my heart and like who I really am. And that's not to say I'm not like presenting as myself, but like inner thoughts, sharing like even little things about like, hey, I'm struggling with this, or I'm feeling this right now, or this happened, what do you think? It's incredibly hard, but when you do that, it does create friendship, asking people for help, allowing for friendship to happen. That can just like a little bit bleed into spiritual for me too. Like it's that faith, it's that trust. We were joking about it at the box this morning about abandonment issues. Well, like, gotta have faith I'm still here. Like, that is hard. It's so hard, but it's like most things. That work is, it's worth it to do the hard thing. But you gotta do the hard thing to get the bigger reward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ongoing. Just hearing you talk about vulnerability, I think that was something that I lacked in having authentic relationships. Like, I recognize my part in why my circle looked the way it did because I didn't show up as fully me.
Right.
And the more that I worked on that, you know, I saw that flip. I saw like the scale, whatever tip, to where I'm like, oh, okay, you know, if I'm holding back how I truly feel, or if I feel like I can't challenge this person on what they're saying or what their actions are, or even just say, hey, that didn't feel good. You know, I think I learned young to keep those in, and there is that fear of abandonment. There are those other wounds that play into that. That's like, well, I just want to, you know, people to love me, so I'm not going to step on any toes. I'm not going to speak if I feel like our opinions are conflicting. I'm not going to show up fully, you know, I'm not sharing everything that's in here. I'm not sharing authentically who I am. And that was really, you know, it is like really difficult to step out and be vulnerable and to be like, hi, I have flaws. Look at them. Can you help? Or like, even just, can you give me a hug while I feel, you know, it's funny because I think those times make us feel less human. And those are probably the most human times
moments
that we have, is when we are like bearing our soul in that way. Like, hey, here's my flaws, here's where I'm fucking up, here's like, this is real. So it is, you know, hard to find, it is hard to, I think, make that space, or it was hard for me to like be confident and just like owning that space, or taking up space in a relationship.
Wouldn't you say it's unfair? That's unfair though. Like, you can't say, I say it's unfair when you show up not as full self and then you tell people to see you. That is unfair.
Oh, for sure.
And as you, if you're saying I want real relationships and you're withholding who you are, like, I can't even challenge you because I don't know who you are. You get what I'm saying? I don't know how you respond to conflict because you're hiding who you are. I don't know how to talk to you or what to say or what not to say because you're hiding who you are. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It becomes a tool of separation because you're hiding who you are, right? Let's say, you know, because there's so many different ways that could show up, but let's just say you're someone whose ideas don't match the, you know, modern society views, right? And it's not to say that you're a bad person, but if you don't tell me that and you keep, you know, kind of like skating around me talking about how I view things and what I do, then I don't know you. And then when I don't know you and you do say something, heaven forbid it be in public with other people and my face looks like M's face. Right? That's it. You want people to, you don't want to feel like, there's no worse feeling than having someone you value and you feel abandoned in a moment, right? It will literally fissure, like create so much separation. So the best thing that you can do in these instances is just, this might come out fucked up. Like, I know I'm not going to say this right. I'm going to say it, right? And then it becomes a bridge, right? It becomes the thing that you can use to talk about. And to be completely honest, especially if you spend a lot of time with somebody, you're not hiding well. Just to be completely honest, you probably, the person knows that you're hiding, right? They're just willing to stay with you in spite of. So a large part of connection in that regard, like, it is vulnerability, right? Which is what Brene Brown's book talked about so often. It's, if I read anything I read, it's like your best friends are the ones you let help you every time, right? Yeah, I really think this goes this way. And then they're like, that's actually not right. And then you're like, shut up. Right? Like, you know, but then if you actually get a chance to talk about it, maybe I am actually wrong. Maybe the way I'm not doing it doesn't line up. And I can think of moments like that for me, right, where I was just like, this is how I want to handle it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm asking y'all because I know handling it this way is bad business. Like, I know for a fact this will fuck everything up. But right in this moment, right now, I'd like to handle it this way. Right? And look, I think everybody to some degree at this table has sat with me through one of those moments. I had one, we went to the movies the other day, the family, Emerald with us, because she's family. And while we were together, I had a moment where I everything kind of shows up for me in really small spaces, right? They're not the big things. So that's why I always laugh when I hear like how you respond to things in the house. I'm like, that's 100% me. I'm just very physically like aggressive with it, right? So I got angry, right? And it was in public. Like, I didn't go after anyone, but I definitely I forgot how strong I am, right? Like, I was banging the door and I hit it so hard, I think I scared everyone in the lobby. Right? And I was just like, open the door, right? Like very much so open the door, right? Because I was upset. I had lost one of the keys to the truck, and I was upset that I had failed in that moment. But I was focused on like just being a little bit out of control. It was literally like 2 minutes, right? Like a 2 minute, like a 10-second moment, but 2 minutes total. And I remember saying to Em, I was like, yeah, sorry you had to see that. And she was like, why? You're here for everybody else. It's fine. You get to be human. And I had to explain to Emily, I said, as a leader, not really. I was like, but as a person, I'd like to be, right? As a leader, I can't fail. I have to stand up. I have to make the right choices. But as a human being, I would love to have moments to be human. So I think that's pertinent. You got to know that.
Yeah, that said it all. I'm gonna talk about, what are we talking about?
What they said, spiritual.
Mental. Yeah. Nah, we're on mental, right?
We're on mental, yeah.
I thought you were passing it. Like, I thought you were just gonna go by what you said. So
Can I do that?
if you really want to. We don't make you talk about anything.
Yeah.
I'm just not even gonna put a category on it. How about that? I'm just gonna talk about
Freestyle.
what this feels like to me. In practice, I think when it comes to relationship in this season, I'm looking at it as more self-focused. I think for me, it's requiring bravery and humility a lot. The bravery comes from, I do this thing where if I need help on a thing, that I already feel I'm not worthy of, I convince myself I don't need it, so then I don't have to ask for help to achieve it, and then I stay where I'm at, and I try to convince myself I'm okay with where I'm at, and that shit don't work. So like bravery to me, it's like now that I've broken it down, it's like testing your relationships. Like someone will be like, "Oh yeah, I'll be there for you," and I'll be like, "All right, cool." Well, I used to be
no. I mean, like,
yeah.
actually, you said testing. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. I'm saying, will you, though, because that's what plays in your mind.
Yeah.
And then you get afraid, which is the brave part, to
Right.
have to be like, well, I actually do need help. Can you help me? And then they're like,
yeah. So
sure.
To test those relationships, I think the fear is that I don't feel worthy of the thing I'm asking for, and this person that I do feel close to, if I ask them for help and they say no, it's affirming that I'm not worthy of it. And that's why I don't ask for the help,
Can I say something to that? It's not that you're not worthy, it's that relationship either isn't ready or they're not there.
Oh no, for sure. This is
previously.
This is what stopped me from testing my.
So previously, not now.
This is what stopped me from testing my relationships.
I thought we were talking about like now thoughts.
Nah.
Okay.
So I think that's what I struggle
Sam.
with, and there's like a bravery I need to step into for that. The humility comes from the other side of the coin for me, which is like, am I being an example of what I want, of what I want to see from my friendships? Am I showing up in that way for people? I put this in the polo more for the next chapter, but I think it applies to everything, where it's like, if if I have an expectation of you and I'm not upholding myself to that expectation and you don't say anything to me, then yeah, we are in this fakecationship where it's like, you're not calling me out, you're not holding me accountable. I understand that I'm not doing the thing, like subconsciously, and I also understand you're not close enough to me to call me out. And we're sitting in this space not talking about any of that, just being like, yo, we're friends. You know, it's fun, it's cool to hang out. One thing that hit me in the chapter is, are your friends there for you during the hard times? You know, and that also requires you to ask for help. But yeah, that's one of the biggest tests. I think I'm trying in this season to test my relationships in that way. And I don't like to think of it as a test, but I kind of have to in my mind. It feels like vetting.
Vetting is 100% a thing.
Yeah. So I don't think I really had a good vetting process for relationships in my life, and trying to come up with that now. I think humility, bravery are big. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. My tests are really simple for vetting, right? Like really simple. It's so simple sometimes I think it throws people off. But ironically, my only test for if I'm willing to give someone a chance, consistency and honesty. That's it. That's all I need. Everything else can be worked on. But if you can't be honest, if you can't show up, then I can't even figure out how we're gonna do this. Like, that's huge to me. We could have different views, different walks of life. We could come from different areas, different understandings. But like, it's just like the call, right? Like, I'm not putting your business out there, but like when you called me, right? And I think you called me like after a class. I was super tired, and you were like, I don't know what to do, and I didn't even think. I wasn't like, man, you be fine. I was like, what's going on? You told me. I said, okay, and I was there, right? It's like that, right? Again, I don't have to be right. I just need to be there. If I say I'm going to be there, I need to be there, right? Like that's the thing. And I'm watching you do it, by the way. But like, I kind of laughed when I saw you and Aaron today. You were like, "Will you be my friend?" Right? Like very sheepishly.
Is that what you said?
And it is.
100% dramatic.
It definitely is. It wasn't that dramatic. It was
Was there
pretty
dancing?
close. There was no dancing, but that was definitely the
No dancing?
definitely
That's
the
not
vibes.
Were the words used?
The words
He was
were
like,
used
no,
in
he
there.
was like, nah, he was.
Kicking his foot.
He tried to do it like super masculine. He was like, no, I'm saying I be looking for friendships. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you really, you want to hit me up.
Come on, we gotta say it like it was.
You want to hit me? You want to hit me? You know what I mean? Yo, you can hit me anytime. I be here with shit. You know what I'm saying?
Lynn said, yo, Dev need a friend. I said, he not wrong. All right?
Before that, they was talking about friendship, which is what I was talking about. But I definitely said that. I definitely said that. I definitely said, yeah.
I'm just wondering, can you if
Nah, I didn't do that.
I was like, he said, you know, because I be needing more like good male friendships. I said that motherfucker definitely need friends. That is, I did say that, but the you know, I just feel like I need more of those relations. That was that moment, but it's that, right? Like a lot of us don't want to look weak, like you don't want to look like less than, you know what I'm saying? It's not, people think weak and strength, but just less than, right? Mm-hmm. So asking someone who you know something, has something you want, that's a tough conversation, right? So I laugh, but I also know, like, it's one of those things when you know someone has something that you want, to ask them to be your friend and they could say no, is putting yourself putting yourself out there, right? Not at necessary risk, but out there. And they can say no. But it's funny because if you think about the bonds you forge, he was confused. He was like, I thought we were already friends. I'm mad confused by this. Like, he was like, aren't we cool? Like, he was like, we cool already. You can hit me up. I don't care. Because that's how you forge friendships, right? But I know it's just a long time ago. Women and men forge relationships differently, right? Like, you know, when the fellas found out I was going to the funeral and going to see Maddish, like nobody was like, yo, let's get a meal train together. They were just like, yo, if you need something, I got it. Just call me. Like but it's the same feel, right? And I'm used to that. So to me, I'm like, got it. I got y'all. That's fine, right? Me and Garth went together. John actually did get him a pizza up there, you know, snuck it in. You know, it's one of those things, and it's good because people need like Matt, who he had a heart attack, by the way, if any of you know who Matt is. Matt was like, man, guys, he said, I didn't realize how many people I had affected. Matt's the type of emotionally intelligent leader that I strive to be like. He's the type of person I look at and I go like, he doesn't talk a lot, but when he does, and it's a little crass sometimes, but he knows what he's doing, right? And I've seen, like, even us showing up, there was probably 3 people in there when we came there. We were just like, hey, just checking on you. Matt, like, he got like 5 messages while we were sitting there. People like love Matt, right? It's the same person who sat with me when I had the first team and things went bad. And I was thinking about, how I was going to handle that. Because I always had these moments where, like, old me does things a certain way, right? And I want to do it that way. Because that way is what I know, and it would be easier for me to do it that way. It would not be easier in long run. It's just easier in the moment. So he sat me down. He gave me Will Smith's autobiography, and he was like, you're better than that. And we had a whole conversation about it. Being there. Like, there's been times where I've needed a ear, and he'll take an entire session just to hear me out. Those are the type of people I want in my life. The people who see my value beyond what I see. So my circle has to be like that. So those are the people I like aspire to be like, talk to all the time. I'm being the friend, right? And I think that brings what we want. Then all of a sudden they're like confused, like we're not friends. I see you all the time. We hang all the time. Didn't you just call me like 2 days ago? Yeah. Oh, all right, confused. So it's like that. I think this, to help draw a point. If your circle don't scare you, like as far as like push you to be better and everything else, is it the circle you want? Right?
Spiritual?
Yeah, keep going. I kind of like
am I in spiritual? Yeah, spiritual. I'm
God.
The reason I'm talking to Aaron, is and what he's speaking to about what I see that I want to take a page from his book is relationship with God. If we're talking about relationship with God, I think this entire book is Christ-centered. And
damn it.
If you've watched any of the other podcasts, I talk about how I've called myself spiritual my entire life, but in practice, walking that out, I didn't have any type of rules, like
or
structure.
Challenge.
Challenge, yeah.
Who's challenging you?
Yeah, all of that. So I think this is challenging me. Just being in this space is challenging
with other
me.
men.
Yeah, and I think that's what I was speaking to Aaron, is that my call to 5 a.m. was recognizing that I've got friends, but I don't have very many male friends, and I definitely don't have any black male friends, and like there's a certain reflection back at me that I can't get from the friends that I currently have, and Lynn, dude's amazing, but like we're not friends yet, we're not friends in that way where.
I understand. Yeah.
And you spoke to it earlier, like you're a mentor right now. I'm not saying that we can't be friends, but I've got a lot of growth to do to
gotta be somebody I can rely on.
Yeah, to be in a situation where you feel like me being in your friend circle scares you a little bit, it feels challenging in that way. So yeah, I recognize that. I'm looking at Aaron. Aaron's like the youngest one in here, but he has grown up very Christ-centered, and the way that he navigates and talks about it, I feel is not preachy or harping on it. Same for you, but like
different angle.
Well, I've seen it once.
He's devout.
Yeah, I've seen it once. Yeah. So seeing it again in a different light is like, oh, okay. Like I know so many people come into this space and they're like, oh, toxic masculinity. I don't want to be that, or I don't want to be around that, whatever. And seeing the masculinity exuded in a different way. Yeah, that's one example. And that opens your mind up to there may be more.
100%.
But seeing 2 examples, it's now like, not that it exists, but can I be it?
Okay.
That's it.
That's a real question. That's a deep question. Stoicism, let's call it comprehensive. You can call it whatever you want, but like being the type of man who others can rely on is a lot of sacrifice. And most of us don't want to give that much up. But we want the admiration, but we don't want to give that much up. That means, like, you know, I can't sit and play video games for 4 hours. I got to do something that people can count on. I have to create something or be part of something that other people can count on. I can't call myself a community leader and then I never do anything in community. Just doesn't make sense. So I agree. Watching Aaron is a powerful individual. Shouts out to Aaron. His devout nature is what I think calls up so much for people. He's like me if I wasn't the leader of space, and he said it himself, and I was like, damn, that's actually kind of true. If I wasn't the leader of space, that would be like Aaron. So when we talk, that's why you see me, I feel like sometimes I'm talking to younger me. Like, that's why I was like, what's the word of the day? He'll tell me, and I'm like, facts. And then we kind of talk it out, right? Because he said that. He said, man, I feel like, you know, you remember 5%ers? I'd be like, yo, what's the word? What's the mathematics for today? I said, what's funny is I've talked about that in the space. You don't even know that, but I've talked about that in the space because I used to be able to do that. I was like, so if you ask me, then we could definitely chop it up. And I realized that Aaron is trying to find his voice. He has all this devoutness, but he's trying to find his voice. So I started asking him what the word of the day was. And then he had to share the devotional he read. You come in here, sometimes you catch him. He'll be praying and things of that nature. It's different when your religion when your belief is not your religion, it's your life. And you just see it from a different angle. I got time. I've had to forge this person who stands on two toes or 10 toes down, 2 feet up. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the time. I can't pretend I don't see things or do that because I understand the urgency. But Aaron's still figuring that out. So that's what he asked. That's why we was talking about levels of strength today, right? All that stuff is a large part. Like that, the amount of power a person carries is insane. Everyone at this table has unlocked potential. There's no way, right? I think I'm doing all right. Right? But I know for a fact that God has something much bigger for my life, and that cannot do distractions. You get what I'm saying? It can't do being veered off the path for long. I'm human, I'm gonna veer, but it can't do being off the path for long. And I'd say it because we talk about it. The other day I was in my car riding, and I literally started crying because I realized all the moments I'm missing with my son. That I don't get to see LJ's like certain things. I come home and she's like, oh, he been doing that, and that like hurts to hear. But I use Marco Polo, and I make videos and I send them to Ashley. Whether she watches them or not is inconsequential. They're reminders for me. And I said on there, I was like, I'm crying in this parking lot because I realize I'm missing all this time. I said, but what we're not gonna do is make it wasted. We're not gonna make this some time that just passed and I bullshitted and I didn't get anything from it. I said, I'm gonna change our lives with this time. And like, again, even now, me saying it, I wanna halfway cry because a why is important. Real relationships need whys. So if I don't have conviction, if I don't live in purpose, nothing else does. Does that make sense? If you don't really move with, again, urgency, the word I'm looking for.
Intentionality.
Thank you. It is intention. If I don't live with intention, then I miss it, right? Shouts out to Beth today, right? First, I noticed it, right? Like, and I was actually kind of having another conversation, but I noticed it.
Not kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And if you are so self-absorbed that you cannot see others, then you do not care to them. I hear your heart, but if you can't see other people, you don't care to them. That's important. People want to be seen, heard, understood, taken care of, and I cannot do that stuck in my own head about my own stuff. It's impossible. You gotta be paying attention. So real relationships look like, to me, I want someone to see me when I don't feel seen. So what do? I do that for others, right? be the change you want to see in the world. Sorry. Took up some time. Y'all ain't go yet.
Spiritual.
Spiritual.
I think for me, what came up talking spiritually about friendship is how good of a friend am I to myself. That abandonment. I think a lot of the issues that came up in my fakeations, or whatever we're calling them, fake relationships, was that I was abandoning myself in an effort to not be abandoned by others. So I think having that connection to self and to source are ways to really walk with purpose, and I think with confidence in who I am and showing that to others. That's where my mind went for it. It's like having a strong connection to source and a strong connection to self, I think, do make it more accessible to be a good friend, to be somebody who shows up, somebody who can be vulnerable, somebody who can challenge somebody when they're in the wrong, or when you think they're in the wrong even. Like, maybe you're wrong, it's fine, but keeping it open for discourse, vulnerability.
Powerful stuff.
Keep it short. Yeah.
I couldn't remember where this
Spiritual.
started at. Yeah. Okay.
I didn't mean to burp.
No one ever does.
That's not true.
All right. Spiritual friendship. I think this just all encompassing for me right now. Yeah, having the faith in yourself and with God, like being able to be grounded there, I think spurs like all decisions. So like I'm kind of restarting my life. Not kinda. Restart. And it's forced me to be with myself and with God at all times in order to keep going, or else I don't know that I would be able to keep going. And I think that applies to like I get up, I go to the gym, I work. I'm continuing to carry on with the things I'm responsible for. I'm continuing to grow myself, even if I don't know ultimately, like I'm working for things, but I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. And friendship is definitely part of those things, right? Like I want to show up as me enough to have the type of friends I want that spur me forward. And what we were talking about a minute ago, like if you don't show yourself, you can't have the friends you want, because, and you can't even be mad at other people for, like I spent so much time being mad, like why doesn't this person like me, or why don't I know that person better? Because I could see like the connection between me and the person, but I wasn't willing to share enough of myself to connect with the person. So it wasn't something about that person or something was wrong with me. It was that I wasn't offering myself up to the person or to be out there and be vulnerable. And I think that goes back to faith, connection with God, something bigger that spurs you forward because you're grounded in that. And so even putting myself out there and having trust, having that faith, we never connect that person. I think we have a connection. I'm letting go even of how that pans out in order to let it pan out.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Solid.
So, yeah. Ooh, the end. I'm passing it to you, but you already went, so.
You know what's funny? I was going to say, I already went.
Yeah.
That's all I was going to say. So let's close it out.
Yo.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you'd like to join our community, check us out, www.gettingitdaily.com. Reach out, get you started. You can also reach out on social media, it's Facebook and Instagram, under the name Getting It Daily. All right? Thank you so much for joining us today. Until next time, I'm Coach Linden.
I'm M.
I'm Amy.
Coach Debbie.
Signing off.
Deucey.
Deuces.
Yeah.